Let me know if you have any other questions. So we finished off actually scope management, and we did the integration management yesterday. So 2 of the 10 knowledge areas have been completed. So we have got still 8 of them. We still have schedule. Today we will finish schedule and venture into cost also a little bit. If we can do a bit of cost, then we are really in good condition for day 3 on. And then day 3 we do cost, quality, communications, resources. So quite a lot. And then day 4 procurement, risk and stakeholder. Okay, let's look at questions. Let's do some more questions today. So this is the same quiz the document I had yesterday. I just have a more neater document with our logo here. So try question number 42. I'll make it bigger actually, a little bit more. Let me see if, yeah. I'm going to get started on these questions shortly. You don't have to answer me, just keep your answers with you, but please do attempt it. Okay, I'm here. Back with you. So let's look at this question. A project manager is performing an audit on a deliverable. When she hears that the team member who did the work is complaining to everyone that he is being picked. So the project manager hears that the team member is being picked on by having his activity audited. Employee is not happy that he's getting audited. You know, this is not true. We are not picking that employee on purpose to audit him. What lesson could you take to future projects? That's the question. Option A, tell all the team members at the beginning of the project that their deliverables will be audited. It might be useful to tell them that yes, you will be audited, so that they know that there is no partiality on discrimination on anyone. But is this the right approach, that when you're telling everybody that they will be audited, it's like telling them that all of you will be audited, which is not correct. In audits, we don't audit everybody. Setting an audit policy in the scope management plan, this seems to be a better one. And also watch out one thing. Whenever you see options which have PMI language, like audit policy, scope management plan, when you see more professional language here, most likely that is an answer, but not always. Yeah, don't take me for granted. Generally, you see more professional statements as the correct answer. This is definitely a professional statement. So have an audit policy which specifies who will be audited. For example, audit will be done randomly, or audit will be done for the following deliverables, for the following categories of deliverables, for the critical deliverables. And therefore, if this person is doing a critical deliverable, they will definitely be audited. Audit less frequently. We don't know if this is possible. So take it out. Use a walkthrough instead of audits. Again, we don't know the meaning of walkthrough. We are not learned what a PMI, for PMI audit, walkthrough both mean the same. PMI says that depending on organization terminology, audits, walkthroughs, inspections, reviews, all can mean the same or different things. So we don't know whether a walkthrough will resolve this problem. Therefore, this is also not good. Therefore, B is the correct answer. Okay, then just give me a moment. I'm going to scroll and then tell you which one. Yeah, this is another good one. Number 43. Please try this. Be very alert when reading the questions. Yeah, never read them superficially. Read them with a lot of attention. A project manager has to be a very good communicator, meaning they should be able to listen to others carefully, ask questions. They should be able to read documents carefully, understand what those documents mean. Even though people talk ambiguously, people write ambiguously, right? When we work with the people from different regions, different countries, they may say something but mean something. So PMs have to be very sharp from so many perspectives. We have to ask them, is this what you meant? By the way, in your email, you mentioned this. I'm calling you because I was not very sure what you meant to write. Could you please explain? So we need to be a good communicator. And also be a leader. We need to make others communicate well. It's not that we say that, oh, I'm totally frustrated with that person's communication. Can we teach them politely how to communicate? A PM receives a deliverable from one of the team members to provide to the customer. So it's a key thing, isn't it, to provide to customer. While looking at the deliverable, the PM notes that the document is smaller than what it should be, what he expected, does not contain what he thought it should. Look at the words carefully. PM notes and thinks is just a person's thinking and feeling. The project manager should first discuss it with the team member. I think the natural reaction would be to discuss with the team member that, hey, something is wrong. Why did you do this? But it is just the PM's thinking. Has the PM done it professionally? Keep a question mark if you are not sure. Contact the team member's manager to get the person additional training. This may be too harsh actually to do immediately like this because we really don't know what the problem is. Audit the development process. I don't know what this means actually because we are trying to question the development process. This may be too early to audit just because of one small issue. So rule this out. Complete the scope validation before making conclusion. Now you see we have got a professional terminology here from PMI. Most likely this could be the answer. Let's validate it. What is the PM actually doing? The PM is doing scope validation. PM is checking the deliverable, accepting the deliverable. Therefore, it is scope validation only. Now, by the way, validation need not be only by the customer. So be a little flexible in the exam. A scope validation can be done by any other person also. What if the PM is representing the customer temporarily? The customer says, project manager, I'm actually off next week. Can you stand in place of me temporarily for this couple of tests, which I'm supposed to own? So maybe the PM is doing it. But the PM is not doing it properly. The PM is not referring to any acceptance criteria, but rather just looking at the size of the document and concluding that it is small. Just by looking at the size, we cannot conclude. Unless the acceptance criteria says that the document should be minimum 50 pages thick. Therefore, the correct answer is not A also, and D will be the correct answer. So you see, so much thinking has to be done quickly. So normally we may go for A because we just read this situation. So you see, this question is checking the knowledge of scope validation. And even the project scope statement, the acceptance criteria and the project scope statement. A lot of concepts are checked. As you see, it's not difficult. Yeah? It's just that we have to be getting practice. So the correct answer there was D, complete the scope validation properly before making conclusions. Let's try a few more. Let's try an input output. We have never practiced the input output questions. Try to remember it. Excuse me. For this, you may have to self-study again. Yeah, some practice, some memorization. Read the question carefully. Output, process. This process has two outputs: requirements documentation, requirement traceability matrix. And you see this here. Project scope statement is coming from define scope. Work breakdown structure coming from create work breakdown structure. Requested scope changes may come from scope control, or may come from even validate scope, who knows. Yeah? During validation, there may be a scope change request. Okay, so that's also done. And let's try one more. Try some variety. I'm looking at let's look at a big question and see how to handle a big question. Generally speaking, many of the questions in the exam can be longer questions. So you need to get practice to speed up your responses. Yeah. Now it is okay. You can spend 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but eventually come to a point where you can quickly assess and answer the question. And the first thing before you read this question, the moment you see a long question, immediately make it a habit to read only the last part of the question. Skip all this. Just read from here. Try to identify maybe the last 1 or 2 sentences and read from there only to save time, because many times a lot of superfluous or junk will be there in the question. Project managers have to understand that they have so much to deal with. You will be having thousands of documents to go through every day. Do you have to read all of them? No, you just want to look at some key ones. The same thing applies here. But I think here we are not able to figure out what's going on. So I'll go one sentence back. When you give the demonstration, it's clear that your users' requirements are very different from blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'm still not clear. Okay, so let me go back to the beginning and start. So do that way. So I think in this case, we must do this from the beginning, and please try it then. Be very alert, but be very relaxed. And try to highlight during the exam with your marker, online marker highlighter. Interesting, isn't it? The summary here is, you're the PM, quick project, 2-week delivery. A lot of things approved: project charter, scope statement, project management plan. Look at this carefully. Project management plan has been approved, which means scope baseline, cost baseline, schedule baseline, the 10 subsidiary plans, and the 6 additional components. Total 19 components have been approved in the project management plan, if they were done properly. And so which means scope baseline is also agreed. And demo happens, and very different requirements than the ones initially agreed. It says client has agreed to the requirements. So what do we do now? Which means the requirements are not correct. We need to modify the requirements. Generate a change request for the user's requirement. This seems to be very professional, isn't it? We need to go through a formal change process. We cannot just go and deliver, oh, sorry, we didn't deliver you the right thing. We're going to modify the product and give it to you and everything will be okay. No, we won't do that, because we had delivered what was approved. So we can't really do number C, attempt to meet as many as the user's requirement as possible within the established budget and schedule. We can't do it. Not allowed. Convene another meeting with the leadership and generate a revised set of requirements. We have to do this definitely because the requirements are totally messed up, but we cannot do it without raising a change request first. Then we can discuss the change request in detail. I'm assuming it will be a very large change request or several change requests because of several requirements not okay. Complete the work as originally specified. Originally, no. Meaning do this, but have a new project for the remaining requirements. No, 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 no. Always go, remember this. This is a change related question. Scope control, perform integrated change control, monitor and control project work. It is a control question. Validation of scope has also happened here. Take a change request, then discuss, do the impact analysis, pass on to the change control board. They may say, no, it is too late. We'll stop the project, terminate it, do a new project. Yeah, maybe then option D. Yeah. So now you see the learnings are coming into action. Now, the only thing in this set of questions, you won't see all the learnings coming into action because we can have only these many questions here. But for the exam, you have to know all the concepts. Question can come from anywhere. And also remember, initiating processes 13%, closing processes 7%, executing processes 31%, planning 24%, controlling 25%. Number of initiating processes 2, closing 1, planning 24, execute 10, controlling 12. Look at the weightages. A lot of weightage for initiating, closing, and executing. And bit for executing and controlling have good weightage, but planning has less weightage for the number of processes it has. Again, important chapter: risk management, change control, project charter, project closure, quality management, some of the resource execution processes. Less important, procurement. More important, communication, stakeholder as well. So use all these thinking for your preparation. Please make a personal strategy for the exam. Yeah, you have to create your own strategy. All I can do is give you some tips. My strategy will be different from your strategy, isn't it? Depending on our way of learning and all that. So the answer here would be option A. And with that, I just want to stop here. We will